Peace and love, you guys. We're so happy to have you here. This is our first show. I am King Monty.
And I am Queen Tut.
Awesome. And today we're going to tackle on how to deal with trauma and exactly what trauma is. You know, a lot of us, we struggle with past trauma, which is stopping us from moving forward in our lives, and we're holding on a lot of grief, a lot of anger, a lot of pain, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So, we do a lot of traumatic healing, you know, since our union, our twin flame union, and we want to share what we did to get over our trauma.
Yes, indeed. So we're gonna first start. First, you have to understand what trauma is, and a very good definition for trauma is damage to the mind that occur as a result of a severely distressing event. So from that definition itself, you can see it's very, very serious. So, of course, we're going to move on to our first question, how to deal with trauma. So I sat down and thought to myself, how do I deal with trauma? Because I have a way, he has a way, and our ways are similar. But one way is I actually wrote down a process, and it's called recognize it, analyze it, and finalize it. So it's steps to it. So the first step is to recognize what you are traumatized by.
Pretty much what that means is understanding that you actually are traumatized. Everyone has some kind of trauma that they're dealing with. So the fourth step is accepting the fact that you are traumatized, and then you can move on from there.
Yes, indeed. So recognizing it. I know with me, I always said to myself, I do not have no trauma. There's nothing traumatizing me. You know, it was just like my pride and, and then, once really when we got together, that's when everything started popping out the closet. Like, I was like, whoa, I forgot this even happened. And then I realized, I'm really traumatized. And once I realized I was traumatized, it was a very good thing because now I can work on it and I can let it go. So first, recognize, search for it. Something, it could be something small that you may think is small, but it's actually traumatizing you.
And it came to a place, I believe it was last year, around January, when I really started to dive so much into my spiritual journey, and I had an hour meditation session, which is actually kind of what connected us. And I sat down with my brother, and we had a goal. Hey, we're gonna meditate for an hour, and we're just gonna see where it takes us. And that's, like my queen said, that's when I really dove deep into my mind, and I uncovered like so much things that I didn't even know existed. So many things that I'm like, whoa, this happened, and you have to do that. And it scared the crap out of me. It was very emotional, but it's like, boom, now I have a start. I can start, I can start with my childhood, and then I can start with teenage age, and I can just go up from there,
Yes.
And just, that's where the healing begins.
Yes, indeed. So look for something. Start, like he said, that's a great idea. If you have to start in your childhood, or if you just have a real bad, like traumatizing experience, and you already know it from the top of your head, start with that one. Recognize that it is trauma, number one. So number two is to analyze the trauma. So how do you analyze trauma? Well, you have to look at it. Try to picture it as if you didn't go through that, and look at it as a movie. And you analyze it to see, why did this happen? How did this happen? What was I supposed to get from this? And you really have to dissect it and to see the lesson in the trauma.
And that's pretty much what I did with my meditation. I was analyzing it, you know what I mean? So I already knew I was traumatized. I'm pretty aware of, how I'm feeling, my emotional state. So I knew I was traumatized. So going within myself, I actually subconsciously started to analyze where my trauma stemmed from, how it happened, So
Yes, so definitely do that. And sometimes it may be hard because it's hard to relive certain things.
Oh yeah.
But you have to And I'm telling you, it's gonna make you so much stronger. Just the fact that you're sitting there and trying to piece the pieces together to see, hey, how did this happen? Why did this happen? What am I supposed to get out of it? As crazy as it may sound, or as crazy as the event was, that's the second step. And that leads to the last step, which is to finalize it.
And in finalizing in Zen, I'm a Zen monk, and what we have a saying and what we practice is to fully come in oneness with yourself is to be in a place of acceptance, and that's when you accept, not necessarily saying it's okay, but you're accepting what happens, and that's when the healing comes, So you're accepting what happened, and then you're starting to rebuild yourself and reprogram your mind.
Yes, reprogramming your mind. That's a big thing, especially for anybody who's watched the movie The Matrix and actually understood it. We have all these programs, from the food we eat to what we do every day to brushing our teeth is programmed, doing your hair. Everything is programmed because we are functioning with our mind. Everything is mind. So if you understand that everything is mind, then you will understand how powerful you are. So that goes with the last step, finalizing it. For example, one of my trauma is really bad relationships. So let's say one relationship was horrible. Like, it was very, very bad. And I had to kind of relive it in my mind a few times in order for me to accept it. And the way that I accepted my trauma is that I realized that I learned so much from, like, lessons. I learned how to read people. If somebody come up to me and they say something, I already know who they are. I know their spirits, let it be a good or a bad spirit. I know them. I learned how to be patient with myself. That just because someone is nice to me doesn't mean I should be in a relationship with this person or I should trust this person. I learned how to love myself, more, because it's like, okay, you can't let that happen to you anymore. And after the relationship, that's when I became, like, extremely spiritual, because I had to go through that trauma in order to find myself. So it's a lot of things. I can say a whole list, but it's a lot of things that I learned from that relationship. And because I accepted it for the lessons that I've learned, it doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah, and just like my queen, I learned a lot from relationships as well. I learned what not to take, as well as I learned things about myself, because people teach you things in a relationship about yourself, because you guys are reflecting each other. And everyone that you come in contact with is, in an instance, a reflection of you. We're all reflecting off each other. We're all bouncing off. The sun, the moon reflects the sun. It just goes back and forth. So I learned about my shadow side from a relationship, and which helped me evolve and understand, hey, that shadow side is what's holding all that trauma together. So I had to go within myself and talk to my shadow side and be like, hey, we got to work together, to heal,
Yeah, that's deep. But my definition also with trauma, well, not really definition, but trauma is a repeated pattern. And we'll have another video about generational curse, because that ties in with trauma. But trauma is a repeated pattern, because the thing is, it sits in your mind.
Yeah.
And you'll be doing something, maybe somebody dropped something. You'll be like, oh, I remember when this happened. Or somebody may call you a name. Oh, I remember when so-and-so said this. Or somebody may say, oh, hey, love bug. Oh, he used to call me love bug. Like something. It could be something simple, a cake, So it's like, it's always there. So in order for it to be beneficial to you, is to reprogram your mind. So now when it pops up, it's no longer this person hurt me. When it pops up is patience. I learned patience.
Yeah.
Let me remember to be patient.
Or you learned anger. You learned in that relationship or whatever happened, you remember that feeling of anger. So now you learn, hey, let me be calm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's a beautiful thing, because I'm just as I'm talking, I'm learning. myself with trauma, as far as, okay, now I don't have to think it was bad. I remember patience. Now it's a constant reminder: be patient, be loving. Love yourself, learn about yourself, learn every day. So trauma is not always a bad thing. So I think that concludes our video for today.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for the love that you give, the love that you will give. And if you have any questions, please comment
below. Please don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, indeed.
Our Instagram, I'm King Mani, so that's KINQ_MANI. I'll put it below.
And I am Queen Tut on Instagram. Excuse me. Queen 2_, TUT. And follow me. I do follow back because a lot of people ask. Yes, I do follow back, and I'm very nice. So
thank you so much. Blessings.